Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Kirby, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
We are going to talk about the Fediverse. What is the Fediverse?
The Fediverse is a decentralized network of platforms and programs that can have interoperability. A lot of them are based on a open source software called ActivityPub.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other open source software, but you're right. ActivityPub is very dominant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Mastodon, it's like probably the most well-known platform in the Fediverse. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Do you want me to start sharing right away? Or
Yes. So
okay.
first we'll do a part of a brief introduction of the Fediverse.
Okay.
We're not going to show the whole thing, but we're going to do like the first 30 seconds and then we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. As soon as my window, there we go.
Minutes, and I will change how you see social media forever. There's a whole world of social media networks you probably never heard of, built by the people for the people. They have no algorithms. You only see posts by people you follow in the order they were published. They have no ads, no surveillance, no attention harvesting. You own your data. And here's the mind-blowing part. These networks communicate with each other. Interoperability is one of the key features of these social platforms. They're like one giant network.
So it's like imagine if Facebook could talk to X, which could talk to Instagram, which could talk to Reddit. They all talk together in that.
And this is actually a very positive like PSA on the Fediverse.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, I love the Fediverse. I mean, I'm active with it, but just like with anything else, there are flaws. So they say no surveillance. Uh, there can be surveillance. Somebody can set up their instance, their Fediverse instance, so that there is surveillance on it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, not everything is moderated. So there are criminal activities and extremist and counterterrorism related activities that are on the Fediverse. So it's not all rose-colored glasses. I mean, there are some negative things on there as well, and that actually makes it of investigative interest if you're doing criminal investigations or you're looking at extremism or counterterrorism. This is a venue you should also be looking at.
One thing I want to say about this is like the idea behind it, I think, is very heartwarming originally, like the idea that you can own your own social network, you can build it, put it on your own computer, connect to what other ones you want, block off which other ones are not useful for you, and basically have, kind of like your own social world out here. The barrier to entry isn't even that hard. However, again, like you said, it's a tool, and a tool can be used for good, and a tool can be used for bad. And I like the idea that you were talking about the monitoring, because yeah, you could easily, like, your whole instance could be just set up to collect, right? You could set that up to collect.
Totally.
To be honest, like, there's monitoring across everything. You put something out publicly, anybody can monitor it. Like, right? Like, for example, people could be monitoring us right now, Sarah. They might be monitoring us right now. But
and that's okay, because we're being filmed.
We're putting it out there. You're not monitoring my house, I hope. By the way, speaking of monitoring the house, I'm off on a tangent for a minute. But Sarah, I don't know if you saw inside our internal portal that I wrote a little article. Did you see that?
No.
About the kill switch. Like, I had a epiphany that I accidentally did it correct anyway, but where I have my internal house smart devices, somehow they always end up on the plug that has the switch. And I'm so bad about switching on my plugs. And so they're constantly rebooting, but I'm thinking, oh, wait, I want them off right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, that's good.
Metaverse.
Yeah. So, so that's an introduction into the Fediverse. And one of the things I wanted to do first is show some of the main platforms, and also to discuss how to actually find qualitative data for OSINT investigations. So let me switch slides here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so oops.
The tab switching thing, it takes a little bit.
It does take a little bit. Mm-hmm. So the first I wanted to show is Mastodon.
But you don't have anything up right now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here comes.
Okay. So Mastodon is the most well-known instance of the Fediverse. That is the one that, you know, you see in the news, and that people can, you know, sign up for their own instance. If you don't want to set up your own instance and don't feel like you have to do, you don't want to take the tech time to you know, make your own server, you can use or responsibility. You can use a third-party service like a Mastodon host, which is what I use for one of mine. So I think that, you know, this is the one that most people are familiar with. Mastodon is pretty good with some of their moderation, but not all of their moderation. So you do have people that are still setting up instances that might have illegal content, or that be engaged in extremist activities. And now I'm going to switch to another one that's very popular. Did you have any comments on that one? On sharing? Oh, hold on. You stop. I can't hear you, Kirby. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was going to say, but you don't. I don't have anything to say right there. But you don't. Just to mention on the sharing thing, it is really hard to get used to. But you don't have to take it down to switch tabs.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. It takes a little getting used to, for sure.
Okay.
It's I found out that Teams is kind of like that. When you share a single window on Teams, you go between tab to tab to tab as well. I didn't know that until today when I did a talk this morning, and it's hard to get used to switching tabs that way. Anyway, so Lemmy.
Lemmy is kind of like a Reddit. So it's like a Fediverse Reddit, and that one is also very popular. So that is one that a lot of people will use, is to have Lemmy instances.
Yeah, and Reddit has been fantastic and very, very open until fairly recently, when it's still pretty open and really searchable. But the API controversy that's happening, where, I mean, Reddit, for good reason, doesn't want their API public anymore because AI has been scraping it. But Lemmy kind of had a little bit of a boost then when that happened.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, what's next?
And the next one is Pixelfed. And Pixelfed is kind of like the Fediverse Instagram.
There we go. Pixelfed. Yeah, and I played around with that for quite a while. I know that they were improving. I got in on that pretty early, and they're improving, but it is very much like Instagram. It's very beautiful. But the thing that's really great, I think, about these, let me think maybe not isn't such a problem, because like in Reddit, you can go and look at the pages you want to. I mean, the algorithm's there, but it's not quite as, doesn't beat you around the head like the ones in TikTok and Instagram. But Pixelfed, at the time I was there was no algorithm at all. You followed who you followed, and you saw when they posted.
Yep. The next one I'm going to share is actually in the Fediverse, and it was originally on Mastodon, but the owner of it got in an argument with the owner of Mastodon, and so he got kicked out of Mastodon, but he set up his own server. And let me share that
instance, or his own like tool.
I'm sorry, what?
So it's not a Mastodon tool, but it connects to you because it's ActivityPub.
Yes.
Okay.
And for some reason, it's not going over to the share.
Okay, if you need to remove
it. Okay. So this one is called COSO, Counter Social. Counter Social was actually made by the Jester. The Jester is a very famous hacker who, after 2001, was hacking a whole bunch of Al-Qaeda and other terrorist websites. His or her computer is in the Spy Museum or CIA Museum. But the reason
Spy Museum.
Spy Museum. The reason he got in an argument with Mastodon is he didn't want like North Korea on his platform, or he didn't want disinformation and hostile propaganda or hostile info ops. And Mastodon made the argument, well, no, you should let anybody on there, including North Korea. So he set up his own service called Counter Social. I've actually been a member of Counter Social before. I think it's a great service. You feel safe or insulated because that nasty stuff is not present.
So I want to kind of clarify on Counter Social though. It is a Mastodon instance. Counter Social is, but it is a walled off one. It doesn't connect to the rest of it, but it's still a Mastodon instance. It's just separated. And that's the same thing, Truth Social as well. They're Mastodon instances. They're just separated from the major network.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing is that I wanted to talk about is Blue Sky. And Blue Sky actually is not on ActivityPub, so it's technically not a part of the Fediverse, but it is a decentralized network. And so with Blue Sky, which will come up in just a second here, with Blue Sky, there is a bridge that you can use for its AT protocol with the Fediverse ActivityPub protocol. So there are ways to actually merge the two or to have interoperability by using a bridge. So Blue Sky is still a decentralized network. It still has greater algorithmic neutrality than you would have with some of the other large tech platforms like X or Meta. Threads from Meta, although I don't have Threads on here, Threads is also not technically a part of the Fediverse, but it does have interoperability with the Fediverse. Now, the next thing, though, that I wanted to look at and discuss is how do you actually find out what's on the Fediverse? And so let me stop here. Oops. Share screen. And I'm pulling up what's called a block list. So a block list, there's lots of block lists that are available for the Fediverse that are created by anybody who has an instance. So when somebody sets up an instance on the Fediverse, whether they do it through an instance service like Mastodon host, or whether they set up their own individual instance, they decide what is blocked from their instance and what is available, or that people can attain. The block lists a lot of times have high value information for criminal investigations, for just running the gamut from like child sexual exploitation, which you obviously would not want to open those instances, but they are present and they are oftentimes defined as such, at which point you'll look at it and say, okay, that's something that people investigate that would want to look at. The other things that are oftentimes blocked are for hate, harassment, terrorism, Nazism, drugs, violence. Somebody's doing sadistic online exploitation, and so you can find a lot of information that would actually relate to criminal investigations through block lists. And unlike big tech platforms, where a lot of times the block lists are it's like a secret recipe you can't see, in the Fediverse, people share their block lists so that you can just borrow from it, and you're like, oh, I hate speech. So you take all the things that are blocked on hate speech and you add it to your block list. And then let's see. I forgot to mention, there's also a lot of blocks for spamming and denial of service, network attacks, and adversarial hacking activities. So these block lists are a directory for investigations. And if you look at the block lists and you go down, you can just see, you know, this is why it's blocked.
You know, I want to highlight too, though, that anybody can put an instance up for Mastodon and not be listed at all. And so you may,
That's true.
you wouldn't be on a block list because you just wouldn't even be listed. So
That's
you could have your own private little. So while this is a directory for stuff that's public out there, there are people who are purposely pushing some stuff out there, that there's no directory for, you know, if I want to put my own social network together, kind of like a counter social, and I don't tell anybody except for my common, you know, my trafficking organization or whatever.
Yes, that absolutely. So there is that issue, and at that point you need to have kind of insider knowledge that it exists. So it might be mentioned in a Discord session. Mm-hmm. So you need to know, you need to have access to that Discord session to know that instance exists.
Yep.
Now there are theoretically some ways to get around that that are still kosher. For example, using backlinks. So if you suspect that a particular forum or entity might be having activity in the Fediverse and they have another location online, you can look at their backlinks through like a marketing SEO review tool, and sometimes it will pull up those ones that supposedly are not advertised. So, all right, so the next thing is that I wanted to show is an example of a extremist Fediverse location. And hopefully I made it vanilla enough that we shall not be censored. Okay. All right, so this instance is called Annihilation Social. This was originally brought to my attention a few years ago when an extremist on the Fediverse approached me online and was trying to troll me, and I was very polite, and so he ended up having a conversation with me instead, which was great because I didn't want to be trolled. But this actually is a instance that has a lot of neo-Nazi activity, white nationalist activity, accelerationist activity, and even possibly things like some Order of Nine Angel activity. So this instance has a lot of extremists that are engaged with it, and this would be an example of an extremist Fediverse location. So one of the things that you can do with an extremist Fediverse location is even though it's password protected, a lot of times you can still get data from it, and I'll show that in a little bit. Do you have any comments?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one. Now, there are things in the Fediverse that are also interestingly a whole entire platform that are that foster extremism in nature. So let me go to that. Oh, did it open? No, it's right there. That's weird. Okay, I'll just open this. And so first I'm going to show an article. There is a platform on the Fediverse called Post. Post is created by some administrators who happen to be far right or white nationalists in nature. And the people that participate in Post are mostly far too extreme right and white nationalist. So a lot of neo-Nazis. For example, Antelope Hill Publishing, which is a known white nationalist entity that is a book publisher, they have their own Post account. And so a lot of people that are on here are extremist in nature or that have a niche extremist ideology. And this is an example not of an instance, but an entire platform on the Fediverse that would be of interest for research and investigations. And these group, and a lot of times these, when it's this level, they do integrate or have interoperability with other platforms. So Post actually has a interoperability with, they use Steam. Just let me show you.
Steam is, for anyone who's not familiar with it, that's a gaming platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Post actually has two connections to gaming platforms. They have one to Steam, and then, oh, it didn't show, did it? Just
hold on, it's coming.
Okay, so one is to Steam, and then I didn't pull the other one, but they have another one, which is actually, they have their own Minecraft server. So the Post platform, which is a white nationalist run platform, has its own Minecraft server, and they also are engaged in Steam. And they also have their own room on Matrix, which is another decentralized kind of communication location. So it's not just one platform, it's a grouping of platforms that are all promoting white nationalist ideology. So if you were researching extremism, obviously this would be of interest. So, and it provides an example of how something in the Fediverse would be of interest for investigations. But you have the same thing again for hacking communities, for CSAM communities, for I mean, for lots of different illegal activities. I have not seen any Al-Qaeda or ISIS on the Fediverse, you know, but there are certainly other kinds of extremist actors on there. Now, let me go to the next thing, which is I wanted to show you how to pull data from some of these things when you need to have a, you need, like they say, oh, you can only have access if you have a account or sign up for an account. There are some ways to kind of get around it. So I'll show a couple. And these are basic dorks. I'm not doing any cracking. These are just basic dorks, like the same kind of creativity that you would use with Google dorking. Okay, so the first is, this is, oh, I still have the URL here, great. This is it showing up to Kirby?
Yeah, we can see it's
Phone Analytics page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've pulled up the account for Antelope Hill Publishing on Post. And if I pop it into Faux Analytics X-Ray, this is going to show me what's on that page without opening the page or having to have access to it on the platform, like through login on the login on Post.
So while it's loading, there's a question, and this may be explained prior, but in one brief sentence, can you explain what the Fediverse is?
Yes, the Fediverse is a decentralized network of platforms and instances that all are interoperable and communicate with each other, and most of them are based on the ActivityPub software.
Now, let me give my explanation, because my explanation is a little different. It's as if it's a software system set up that it's as if Facebook could talk to Reddit, could talk to YouTube, could talk to Instagram. You choose the interface you want, what kind of interface, and you can talk to anybody on any of the other tools.
Yes.
Okay.
So back to page Illicit page X-ray. The first thing I wanted to point out is that
this again, this is analytics page X-ray.
Yes.
I just wanted to emphasize what this is.
It's a free resource from Dr. Augustine Faux. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. And he has made this tool that looks at ad tracking. However, it's also multiple. It's kind of a multi-use tool. And you can use it with something like ScanURL.io to pull information from domains. So with a platform like Post, you can actually put in accounts from Post into Flow Analytics X-ray and get some pretty interesting information. So the first is you can see if that instance is actually doing surveillance or tracking. So the Post platform itself does not have browser fingerprinting, but the Antelope Hill publishing page on Post does. It's showing fingerprinting. So the main website doesn't, but Post user accounts do or may have. So that's the first thing that's of interest. And the second thing is it gives you a just kind of a view of what's on the page without having to open it in your domain. So that's a kind of a form of no touch. And then down here, it shows you what other pages or internal links there are to that user account. And that gives you the URL that you can then add to the, you can go back up here, do / and add it. And you might be able to pull the information from those subpages of that user's account on Post. So this works with not all instances, but it does work with some instances. So now this one's saying that page is not found, so maybe it's no longer active. But sometimes they are active. So that's the first thing that I just wanted to point out as a way to pull information off of instances or that are on Post. That same concept will apply to some other ActivityPub instances, but again, it depends how the person set up their instance and what kind of OPSEC or security that they have set up. Some people, have better OPSEC and then some people don't. The other thing I wanted to point out is if you go down to the Flow Analytics X-ray, it automatically gives you a lot of pivot leads to external links to that Fediverse account. In this instance, White Nationalist Antelope Hill Publishing. So this shows, that they have their own website, that they are on a site called Campsite Bio, that they have, they're using a GitLab software program called Soapbox, which a lot of the Post was originally based off of. And they have their own Rumble and YouTube account. So that's a lot of pivots right there if you were actually researching that business, because that's a for-profit business. So that's one way to pull some information without having actual access to the instance. Another way to pull access from the instance is to use the Internet Archive Wayback Machine, but not necessarily in the way you would think. So let me go to Wayback. Okay, yeah, this one is. So I'm going to switch pages. Karit, do you have any comments?
No, but I'm putting some links out for people, so.
Okay, all right.
So right now we're going to go to the web archive, and while she's loading that, let me show you a couple of other links that I threw into the chat, but they only go to the chat for for YouTube and Twitch, so they don't go to the LinkedIn chat. So I do want to share them as well. So for example, Fediverse.party, if you really want to figure out what this is about, and another one which is instances.social, which is going to be a list of it's like a directory, a catalog of instances. These aren't the block list sort of thing. This is more like the ones you could join theoretically.
So can you see my Internet Archive page? Okay, so as the pages,
Yep, you're good.
So as the page is saving an Internet Archive right there for the page, it's showing user accounts that are under that instance.
Can you make that bigger by chance? Really small on our screen. Well, Control plus should make it bigger. Control plus a couple times.
Okay, I'm trying.
Okay.
No, it's not working.
Maybe on your touchpad, pinching out.
Sorry. Can I just put it in the chat?
No. That would
okay. It's not working to get bigger.
No, but what you can do is you can put the link to when it's saved. Oh no, maybe that's not right either. Because it's this screen right here specifically is where you're getting that. That's
so this is
you can still get that actually.
Okay, so what? So
go ahead and let it finish. Click through the finish. So you're saying that it's available here on the screen, but now that I think about it, if you click through that finish to the page that it's at, it's going to be in the audit.
Right. Okay.
So if you click on that, and then if you give us that link in the chat, then it will be in the audit of that, which if you want to show the audit.
Yep. Put that in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's in chat.
I don't see it in chat.
I just put it in chat.
Why don't you send it to me? You sent it in our private chat. Okay, I'll put it in the chat. Hang on.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
So as the page is saving into Internet Archive, the actual save function is saving all that metadata. That metadata a lot of times will have user accounts on the platform, on the Fediverse platform. So what you do is you copy all of the metadata that is in the save versus the end save of the graphic page. Because that metadata
from here too. I think we can get it from here too. Go to the audit.
Okay.
So the audit is going to be in the inside the toolbar. Let's see. About this capture, the little tiny bottom right, about this capture, and you'll get all the timestamps, and it's going to pull. Yeah. It should pull all that stuff in here too.
No, that's not all of it. No, it's not. It's only a little bit of it.
CSS probably has it then too.
What?
The CSS probably has it as well then. So for example, if we go to in that link, if you do the dev tools, which is going to be right click and go to inspect, it should be all in there somewhere as well. I think. Maybe not.
No.
I'm gonna have to play with it. There's going to be another way to get it besides just that.
But I mean, the save is static though. Like if you save the page, you can go back and you can still just copy all of the metadata that's in the save box. But I found that it's not. It doesn't. Yeah. But
it's pulled from somewhere. So
right. So if you have a Fediverse account and you that you're investigating or Fediverse instance and you put it into Internet Archive, the actual metadata of the save itself, a lot of times we'll have a listing of all the user accounts under that instance.
Interesting. I'm going to play with that.
Yeah.
So, I like that.
A lot of times.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make things private. It's like even private chats on the Fediverse because of the open nature of the way that the software, that protocol runs.
Now, one of the ones I just started playing with it. I haven't quite figured out how to dork yet is PeerTube. That one is actually hard. So
There's not a lot on that one either though. So
yeah.
The problem with PeerTube, it's going to be like a YouTube version of that. And the problem with that is you have to host the videos yourself, which takes up a lot of room. And I can see why that one doesn't necessarily end up getting used as much.
Right. Yeah. And I think you can configure it's going through I2P. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so that one's kind of difficult, but that works with a lot of the instances. Again, not all of them, but it's worth a shot. And that, you know, one of the good old tried and true methods is, although the Google algorithm isn't doing as much for site : of a domain, you can still do an advanced operator in Kagi or another search engine that takes advanced operators and get a whole bunch of sub pages of an instance that way. So just by playing with different alternative search engines, with doing advanced site operator and sub pages, and the same thing with the in URL operator as well. You can do that one as well. So another way to get data off of these is, I mentioned earlier, is marketing SEO backlink checkers. There's a whole bunch of them you can use. So that one's pretty easy as well. It doesn't mean that 100% you're going to get the data, but a lot of times you do. I mean, if people are going there, there's going to be backlinks.
Thanks. Sarah.
I can't repeat.
What are backlinks?
Oh, backlinks are sites that have referred to the website, so that that have mentioned the website.
They have a link on their website pointing to like this website.
Yes.
Sure, we got to define some things sometimes.
So like, for example, I found Post, the platform's Minecraft server, through looking at backlinks. So I took post.poa.st and I used SEO review tools, which is one of the many backlink checkers. And then Kirby just put in Ahrefs, which is a really nice one. And then that one, they'll give you the top 100 or top 200 backlinks. And one of the top 100 backlinks for Post, the white nationalist run platform, was their Minecraft server. And so it was like, oh, there's our Minecraft server. So I mean, backlinks can be very helpful for doing investigations when you're looking at the Fediverse.
They can take you that you might not have known existed.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So that is the two, and there was another one I wanted to show. So let me get to that one. So this one is Brighton Social. As you see here, I haven't clicked on visiting the page yet. This one is a more of a propaganda site. But the other reason I pulled this one is, like, one of the things that the first video that we showed at the beginning of this OSINTirl stream was when they were talking about all the positives of the Fediverse. They were talking about, not advertising and things like that. But somebody can totally monetize their instance and combine it with propaganda. So this would be an example of that. I'm just going to open it in Internet Archive again for no touch.
I mean, once you have an instance, you can do whatever you want in it. You can add ads to it. Just whether or not people are going to sign up for that at that point. They might not sign up for your instance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And you can even throw ad trackers on there if you want to. Mm-hmm. So this is Brighton Social, and this one has a lot of like conspiracy theories on it, and misinformation, and propaganda. And then it has a lot of things for sale, and it tries to cater toward preppers, people who are prepping for big natural disasters. And then it even has one person on here selling products who has had several OSINT reports or OSINT investigations, Nature Ranger or something like that, that there's been looks at whether or not that person has ties to Russia. So at that point, you would look at it and say, does this page have Russian propaganda? If you're studying Russia, that might be of interest. So again, not everything on the Fediverse is positive, but a lot of things on the Fediverse are certainly of investigative interest depending on what you're looking at. So that's one I thought was really interesting to share.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I had for wanting to share pages. Let me double check here real quick.
Okay.
Yes, the next thing I wanted to share was our knowledge portal. Is that okay, Kirby?
Absolutely. Feel free.
Okay. So let me share our knowledge portal.
Mm-hmm. So okay, go ahead, Sarah. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say our knowledge portal, like the whole goal of our knowledge base, and you have it scrolled down a little bit. I don't know if you want to scroll up so we can see our picture. Well, I was thinking our picture, but yeah, that's fine. The database is good. Our knowledge base, the idea behind this is we're not going to be listing every single tool. We would love to, and we'll get to it eventually. You know, this is not an example of one of those big link lists that's everywhere on the web. What this is instead is it is a little bit of analysis on these tools. Where are they coming from? Who runs them? Has it, you know, been a useful tool for us? Categorize them by tags, categories, that sort of thing, and just trying to make things a little bit easier to find. Sarah is our maintainer. So Sarah, I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Okay, so I try and put things in here that are of interest to investigators and analysts. Since this episode was on the Fediverse, I went ahead and added a new entries last week and this week on the Fediverse on a lot of different platforms. So everything from Castopod, which is a Fediverse podcast tool that has interoperability with all of the other ActivityPub instances. So you can have podcasts on Mastodon, or you can have podcasts on Planoma or one of the other ones. And then there's guides on here, like there's one on Fediverse servers. Fediverse servers is really helpful for looking at instances that are active. And a lot of times the Fediverse name in and of itself will give insights into, not always, but a lot of times it'll give insights into what might be of interest with that server. So I know that Kirby has been active on one called Tech Hub Social. And that instance has a lot of interesting posts on it for people who like emerging technology. So I think, you know, so we do put things in here as it would relate to investigations, whether it be a social platform or whether it be a tool or whether it be a resource, like a directory or guide, and we review them.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we go to our slop of the day, I am going to, Sarah, I'll have you go ahead and set up the slop. I do want to show you, everyone, that we do actually have something going on right now. We've got a sale. So we have a sale on our OSINT Comprehensive Live class. It was recorded on February 23 to 26. This is a 4-day class. To me, this is our best class that we've done in this OSINT Comprehensive series. It's been we've done everything from hashing content to making AI tools to making search engines, lots of stuff in there. And I think it's definitely worthwhile, and 40% off until May 1st. Our code, in case you don't get to this link, I'll put this link in the chat as well as in our show notes, but the code is just spring 2026 if you wanted to go ahead and, you know, type that in when you go to our page. Our main page, though, right now, if you even just go to the main page of our website, let me go ahead and switch that to this. There's a link to it right at the top. So build real OSINT skill in 4 days. And this is an on your own class. So Honor Pluses Academy, you take your time. You can go through it in 4 days if you want. You can go through it in a week. You can go through it in a month if you want. Just click through there. You'll find our OSINT comprehensive class again with our sales code on there. All right, Sarah, are you ready for the slop of the week?
Yes. This week we have done illits.
You took it down.
Oh, okay. Just a second.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are going to have illit slop. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
We do. Thank you so much for being here. And if you don't mind, hit subscribe on Twitch or YouTube and give us a little bit of activity so that maybe more people will find us. Maybe give some comments in there. We would love to talk to you. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. And keep your eyes out for little extras coming soon.